So sit at one end, and then allow your head to rest at the other end. And then let the palms turn up. Let the shoulders drop back around the foam. And then just allow yourself to sink into the foam and just breathe right here. The foam roller is great for coming back to midline, so midline orientation. So as you're lying here, just feel the spine on the foam. As you inhale, feel up the back of the spine. As you exhale, feel the front body drop into the back body, drop into the foam. Take a few breaths that way, inhaling up the back, and then exhaling down the front, feeling the front body sink into the foam. Getting out of the mind, back into the body, so that you can start to connect, rather reconnect with the sensations of the body. The body thinks in the feeling sensations. So just as you arrive, notice what you're feeling right now. Welcoming any sensations without fighting them, trying to make them go away, just allowing whatever's arising to be there. And meeting it with kindness, nurturing it so that we can help soothe it, meet it, listen to it as we go through this practice. So on the next inhale, we'll start to add a little movements. Keep the arms resting on the floor. As you inhale, just slide your arms on the floor up towards a T position. Deep breath in, and then exhale, hands just slide back down towards your hips. Start really gentle. Let the breath drive the movement, just coming up to where you feel your first barrier of motion. And then exhale back down. We'll do about 6 more times. Each breath feeling how you can go just a little bit further. Maybe as you repeat, you start to come up more towards a Y position. Take one more round, this time pausing as you get to a T. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, let the arms come up towards the sky, hands clap in front of the chest. Inhale, let the arms sweep down. Deep breath in, really wide. And then exhale, arms come back up. Letting the breath drive your motion. Inhale. And exhale. Couple more. Last time. As you exhale, arms pause up towards the sky. This time, breathe in here with the arms reaching upward. As you exhale, one arm goes up, one arm goes down, scissoring the arms open. Stretch the hands in opposite directions. As you exhale, switch the direction of the arms all the way. Inhale, reach long in opposite directions. Exhale, switch, scissoring the arms the opposite direction. 3 more times on each side. Making this the last breath. Then letting both arms come back by your sides. Just pausing for a full round of breath. Letting go of the arms. Noticing the different sensation in the body, the difference in the breath since beginning, syncing your breath to movement. And now let's come into our spine a little bit more. Take both hands, interlace your hands behind your neck. So your pinky fingers slide up and push into the base of the head. And now, as you're here, inhale, spread the elbows wide, stick your tailbone out so you get a nice arch in your back and a nice stretch in your chest. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone and then wrap the elbows in. As you wrap the elbows in, you'll roll up a little bit so that the head lifts off the foam. Now as you inhale, roll down, spread the elbows, arch the back, stick the tailbone out so that you get a nice arch in the low back. And then as you exhale, scoop the tailbone up, scoop the elbows up, bring the elbows towards touch, and then the elbows pull you up into a little crunch. So now we're moving our spine through flexion and extension. So arch the back, spread the elbows, and then as you exhale, scoop the tailbone, keep the low back pressing down, round the head and upper back off the foam. Really pull the elbows together, squeeze the ears, feel the curl of the spine. It's more about mobilizing each segment. Arching on the inhale, moving at your own pace, a couple rounds, rounding on the exhale. You don't have to go real high. Make sure you're not yanking on the neck or aggravating the neck. It might just be a little chin tuck, a little traction of the head. The more scoop you get from the low back and the more wrapping of the elbows, the more you'll be able to lift. Do 2 more rounds. Make this the last time. And then release the head, release the hands, and just come back to stillness on the foam. Just come back to midline and feel the weight of your body resting in the foam. Letting the energy of that little mini crunch, that flexion extension of the spine, just settle. And then let's slide off of the foam. And we're gonna come onto our sides. So you're gonna take the foam underneath the head. So I got a lot of back, shoulder, neck type things going on in the group today. Hi, welcome if you're joining, Jay and Zara. We're using a foam roller today and a block. If you missed that, today's full body foam rolling. If either of you have any requests, please feel free to unmute yourself or write it in the chat. I'm trying to, there's a lot to cover with these things, so I'm just trying to give specific things based upon what people are requesting. So we're moving into a sideline sequence, and I love doing this stuff because a lot of people don't think to use the foam this way. So instead of moving the foam, where the foam will stay in place, and we're going to be rolling over it. So you're gonna come onto your side and you're gonna let your head rest over the foam. So reach your bottom, I have my left arm underneath, reach your bottom arm out, and then pull that foam roller right up against the neck so that you're really supporting the side curve of the neck. Yeah, we'll be on our side, this kind of direction for a while if you want to reorient so that you can see. And as you arrive here, you might find it's a little tender in this place. And make sure it's not on the ear. Make sure you're under the ear. Make sure you're even under the base of the head. So you really tuck it in there. So I literally pick it up, turn it. Yes, there you go. Then the head should drape heavy over the foam. Just this is a bit tender for me. So just notice how you feel. And then take your hands like a guide. You're going to bring it to the top of your head, kind of like you're holding your head. And using it just to facilitate a little rotation, use your hand to help your head turn to the right. And then untwist back towards your side. Don't yank on the head. The arm is just a guide. So untwist and you'll start to feel a nice rotation. And then untwist. Let's do that a few more times. And you'll notice, again, with repetition, just like the first activity we did, with each rep, you can go a little bit further and stay and be a little bit smoother. So keep that motion really smooth and relaxed. And then on the next round, pause in that rotational stretch. Now the back of the neck is resting over the foam. So you should feel the back of the neck on the foam, the nose is pointing upward. Now take the back of your right hand, rest the hand, the back of it, on your forehead. Let the right shoulder drop towards the floor. Let the right elbow drop towards the floor. Feel the head drape over the foam roller. And breathe into the front of the chest on the right so that you get a nice right chest opening stretch. And then untwist, coming back out of that. Now let's keep working our way down. So now you'll use your block or your cushion or your pillow, whatever you have to support the head, while the foam now comes under the shoulder. So I can have enough space for my arm to rest above the shoulder. It's right out, or above the foam, it's right out in front of me. Now I'm on the back and the side of the shoulder blade. And this might feel a little tender. So I'm actually gonna move my block to this high height to begin. So the higher I am, yeah, the easier it's gonna be. As I start to relax into it, I can let my head come down a little bit more. So just arrive here and take your top arm to the ribs on the upper side. And I want you to use your breathing to facilitate some release here. So breathe in and feel your ribcage expand like an accordion. And then as you exhale, feel both sides of the ribs sink together. You may even provide a little downward pressure with your top arm. And do that about 3 or 4 more times. Inhale, feel the expansion like an accordion. And then exhale, soften. If you have a Coregeous ball and prefer to use a ball here, the Coregeous ball is a really nice option if the foam is really firm. Or you can take a blanket over your foam roller. Now we'll do a little mobilization over that left side, or whatever side is down. So take your top arm, for me it's the right arm, reach the right arm forward so that I roll forward a little bit. So I roll off the shoulder blade, and then now slide your top arm across the other so that I roll along the edge of the shoulder blade back onto the back of the shoulder blade. And then you're going to roll over it again. The arm is what propels the motion. So your arm is the driver. Your body stays super relaxed, letting the weight of your body over the foam do the work. I have a spot right here in the middle of my range that's particularly sensational. That's a bit tender, but it's not at the point where I'm fighting it. So I'm going to pause here. And I'm just going to see if I can use my breath to help me sink a little bit more. Allowing gravity, time, and my breath to create a softening in those tissues. And then as that softens, I might come back to my rolling, my twisting action. Syncing your breath and movement. And then pausing. Now, I'm going to do one more variation here with the foam in this position. I'm going to slide my block back just a little bit because I'm going to come into the twist again like I did before. And I'm going to let my head rest on the block. And I'm going to let myself to come into a twist. So now I'm actually coming off of the foam, off of the shoulder blade, more onto the back of the rib cage, and allowing gravity to help me sink into the foam. If you're feeling increased pressure in your top arm, too much stretch, bend the top elbow and then keep it into that field goal position to bring it back. If you have the tendency to hyperextend through your elbows or your shoulders, bend the arms so that more of the mobility comes from the rib cage. Try to keep both knees down on the floor. Yeah. If you're having a hard time with that, pull them up towards the chest a little bit more. So that we're getting rotation through center. So a nice way to visualize increasing this rotation here is to think of your midsection like a rag. You're wringing yourself out from center. So you're taking a deep breath. And then as you exhale, think about wringing the belly out so that the ribs go in one way, the hips go in the other. Take 3 more breaths there. And then now circle your top arm down, and we're going to do a couple windmills with the top arm. So reaching forward, reaching up, reaching all the way back and gliding down. Swing the arm, taking up as much space, maybe even dragging it along the floor as long as you can. Creating nice big circles. Inhale as the arm comes up. Exhale as the arm comes down. Feeling that point of contact between the foam and the body. Last time. And then coming back to your side. And that's really nice for increasing rib cage mobility, increasing shoulder overhead mobility, increasing breath. Now, from here, we're just going to keep on rolling down the body. So now, If you prop yourself up to your side, move that foam roller right to the side of your hip. And now you're going to lie back over the foam. So the foam is in that space between the pelvis and the rib cage, the quadratus lumborum. So really scoot it down right up against that hip bone. And you're going to be propped up on your side to begin. And now send your awareness and your breath to right where the foam and the body meets. You probably have a trigger point along the top edge of the pelvis. So what you might find yourself doing is rocking forward and rocking back, just easing into that sensation, just a little twist, kind of like you're rocking a baby. Just allow yourself to ease in. So you're gradually allowing the foam to move deeper rather than forcing it deeper. So we're talking about a little low back tightness, Melinda, you were saying, from maybe a little too much exercise. So you probably have some QL tightness going on, which is, as you rock back, you'll probably rock into the edge of that quadratus lumborum. And then as you rock forward, you may even find that you come into the psoas, the hip flexor a little bit. So find whatever your body's calling for. You can make it a little bit more of a psoas release as you come forward, or you can make it a little bit more of a quadratus lumborum release. And wherever you end up, you might decide, oh, I'm going to straighten out my bottom leg. And then you'll start to add a little bit more length in that bottom leg. You might feel a little bit more sensation arise. The leg can also stay right where it was. I'm just giving you variations, just giving you options. And then if you feel like, okay, that feels good, but I can go even a little bit more, maybe your head comes back to your block and your bottom arm just relaxes beneath you. Wherever you end up is totally fine. If the head needs a little support while you're on your elbow, the bottom arm can come and support from underneath too. If that feels too low, Brian, you can put your block underneath your elbow too. So find whatever variation feels sustainable and then breathe into it, allowing the foam to move a little bit deeper with each exhale into the side body. Giving yourself as much external support you need, finding that variation that allows you to soften in and stay. How can you make yourself 10% more comfortable for the next 5 breaths? And then bend your bottom leg. Press yourself up to sit. And then let's repeat this series from the other side. So we got the whole side from head to hip. Now we're going to come onto the opposite side, starting with the head over the foam. Make your way there. Let me know if you have any questions. Now's a great time to ask. If you need any modifications. And as you're ready, come to your side. Let your head rest over the foam so that the ear is over the foam, so the ear is revealed. You can hear through the bottom of the ear, from the bottom ear. And you'll feel the edge of the head, the base of the occiput, resting on the foam. As you arrive, just scoot the bottom arm out a little bit so that you come off that shoulder, so you relieve that shoulder a little. Knees are up like you're sitting in a chair. Take your top arm now. Top arm is a guide, not forcing or pulling, just assisting and guiding the head back. so that we're getting cervical rotation, upper back rotation, moving one breath per motion, inhaling and twisting, exhaling back to center, or whatever breath seems to work for you. You can even inhale, pause, take a full round of breath in that stretch, and then unravel on the next exhale. One breath per motion, or pausing for a full breath in a rotated position. I always find that when I come to the second side, it's generally less tender. So rolling one side generally will actually soften and relax and create more allowance on the other side. The second side's usually easier. Noticing with each rotation how you can go just a little bit further. And then on the next twist, pausing, letting the whole head just drop off the back of the foam. So now the base of the skull, or the occiput, is right at the edge of the foam. So the head is just melting over the foam roller, and the foam roller is capturing the whole curve of the neck. Now your top hand, the back of it rests on your forehead. Allow yourself to take 5 nice deep breaths here, letting the head be heavy, breathing into the pec on the top side. For me, it's the left. So feeling the expansion from your chest bone out towards your top elbow. Last breath, and unrotate, coming back to your side. When you're ready, shifting the foam below the shoulder now, letting your head rest on the support. Coming right into the edge of the shoulder blade on your underside. So you should feel that bony edge as you lie down. So we're coming into the posterior rotator cuff, we're coming into the lats, into the teres, a lot of those muscles that prevent overhead reaching. And we're also coming into the serratus anterior. So all your big shoulder muscles, as well as facilitating breath. So let's use our breath to mobilize the rib cage first, like we did before. Top hand to top ribs. Feel the expansion as you breathe in like an accordion. And then as you exhale, feel the ribs on both sides draw together. 4 more breaths before we begin to move. Reclaiming this rib motion. Try to breathe into the back body. And when you're ready, letting go of the top arm, allowing your top hands to rest on top of the bottom, and now begin to use your top arm as a driver to rotate over the bottom side of your body. Letting your weight and gravity mobilize the back of the shoulder, the side of the shoulder, the side of the rib cage on your underside. Pausing any place along the way. If you find a spot of sensation, pausing and breathing into it, melting over it. Feeling the weight of the body and gravity soften you into the foam roller a little bit more. And when you feel like you soften, if you found a moment of stillness, returning to your rolling forward as well as back, on and off the side and back of the shoulder blade. Until you feel like you can move freely. And then as you're ready, take your top arm, reach it up towards the sky. Now from the ribs and from the belly, come into a twist. And let the block or your books or cushion support the head. You may need to adjust just a little. You might have to slide the bottom arm out a little bit. Try to keep both the knees in contact with one another and with the ground. And then wring yourself out from center. If you feel like the back of the head or the neck is getting crunchy, tuck your chin towards the throat and maybe add another support under your head. If you have a block, turn the block onto its highest height here. That will keep it out of the head and neck and allow you to rotate from the rib cage. And then pause and breathe. Wringing yourself out, feeling the shoulders move back as the ribs stay grounded and pulled towards the floor. Trying to breathe into the back body where your ribs rest on the foam. Trying to allow the top side ribs to drop into the foam. Just like on the other side, the upper arm can be bent to 90 degrees. Take one more round of breath. When you're ready, unrotate all the way back to your side. Move the foam down. Come into the side body now. I'm starting by propping up onto my elbow. And then like a little gentle rocking, like you're dancing, just sway over the foam to ease into the side body. And notice where you feel sensation. Everybody's going to be different. It might be right at the top of the iliac crest on the side. You may feel it as you rock forward a little bit more on the hip flexor or psoas side. Or as you rock back, you might rock into the edge of the quadratus lumborum. Notice what you're feeling. Allow yourself to meet that sensation. Maybe it's by rocking on and off of it, and then find stillness. Once you find stillness, allow the sensation to subside. Welcome the sensation, and as you welcome the sensation, you'll feel your body soften to it. My approach to foam rolling is a little bit different than some people. Some people try to aggressively knead it out, but by welcoming the sensation in a lot of these trunk and torso spots, we'll actually soften them more effectively so that we can lean in a little bit more and relax the body's protective response a bit more. And then if you'd like, straighten out the bottom leg if that felt good on the other side. That tends to increase the sensation a bit more. And if you want some head support, either the head can rest in your bottom hand, or the bottom hand can come out and your block is accessible for you. And then breathe here, pause and breathe. Breathe and notice. Maybe you let your top hand drape up overhead on this side. Do whatever feels right in your body. How can you soften 10% more? How can you let go into the sensations? Lean into the kindness. Remember that all the sensations are trying to tell us something. The physical sensations of the body are like the thoughts of the mind. Welcoming and allowing them so that you can soften in. And then when you're ready, let the arm do big circles, like a windmill, reaching forward, even tracing the floor if you can as you come up overhead. Circle the arm back and down. 3 more times. Last round. And then we'll finish on our backs. This is probably one of my favorite uses of the foam roller. It's a really nice release for the hip flexors, which helps us with our back, as well as getting out of the sitting position we spend so much time in. I really like to spend a lot of time on the trunk when I do the foam rolling because then the rest of the body kind of follows. So from here, roll onto your back, take your foam roller and lift your hips, placing that foam roller underneath the pelvis. So you should feel the pelvis supported on the foam roller. It has to be high enough so it doesn't roll out from under you, but it has to be low enough so it's not in the low back. So now you're like in a yoga supported bridge. And then you can stay here, just feeling the pelvis become heavy. And now if it feels good, straighten one leg out. If you start to get any pinching or pain in the low back, bend your knee a little bit so the foot comes back on the floor. But you might also notice that as you arrive there, it will subside. This is an option. You could stay here. If you're like, I'm curious about what else there is here, maybe let the other leg straighten out. If that starts to pinch the low back or doesn't feel quite right, bend your knee again so you're just doing one leg at a time. And if you're saying, oh, what else can I explore here? Maybe reach both arms up overhead, interlace hands to opposite elbows, stretch out from the side body, and feel a full body stretch. If you have one leg straightened, maybe it's time to shift sides to the other side. So bend both knees first, and then straighten the other one. And then if you have your arms up overhead, maybe stretch them out overhead, reaching through both hands and both feet. Let's get a little, if you're here, let's get a little side bend. So reach through the right hand and the right foot, lengthening the right side of the body. And then exhale, relax back to center. And then repeat that on the left. Reach through the left hand and the left foot, Stretch through the left side of the body, getting a full body stretch. And again. And release. Back to the left. Integrating both sides. We did some flexion extension. We did some rotation. Now we're just doing a little side body lengthening to get all three planes of motion. Take 3 more breaths here, wherever you are. If at any time you're feeling pain in the low back, the knees can stay bent. When you feel complete, bring your arms back down by your sides. Lift your hips by engaging the glutes, engaging the abdominals, pushing your feet into the floor. Let the foam slide under your knees and just lie all the way back on your back for a moment. Letting the backs of the knees be supported by the foam. Letting the palms turn up. Letting the head be heavy. Feeling the change. Allowing the work you did to become integrated. It's through resting, through shifting from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. So from that fight or flight, that efforting and doing, to that resting and being, that our body can restore, can grow, can change and transform. So allow yourself to absorb that restoration as you lie completely supported, so that the body can integrate all that it just learned. And as you prepare to transition back to your day, maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes. Give yourself a big hug. Pull your knees to your chest here, since the foam is under your knees. Yeah. And then give a little rock to your side. And push yourself all the way up to sitting. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions, any other areas you need some tips on. I'm happy to answer them now.